Hello, and welcome to this special Christmas episode of Anime Audio Commentary. Today I'll be commenting on episode 17 of Chobits. If you'd like to watch along, then start watching now. Alright, last we left off, Chi went out of her way to help Hideki, who was, struggling financially. She cooked a meal and all that. It didn't go perfectly well, but in the end she did manage. And Hideki also took a test, after which he said, hey Chi, let's go out and do something. So what that something is really yet to be determined, but, I assume it's something nice. Although, seeing as how we've cut to Hideki sleeping, I feel like we're just sort of glossing over whatever that was. It's kind of unfortunate, because I feel like it would have been cute, but oh well. And I guess seeing as how Sumomo is still here, I guess we can only assume that Hideki's friend is still off with the teacher, being adulterous and stuff like that. Still not sure I really agree with the direction things are taking in that regard, but I don't know. I guess that's just how things are going to be from now on. Now I guess the landlord's doing a bit of spring cleaning, so maybe now would be a good opportunity to teach Chi a few things about cleaning and all that. Ooh, that's a hint right there. It's like, oh, you're doing a lot of work on your own. Well, why don't we help you? And I feel like Chi, if you give her the proper instructions, she's probably in a pretty darn good position to be very helpful. Although I feel like you do have to give her probably a relatively simple job where she isn't likely to get into any trouble. I feel like if you are going to have Chi help with cleaning, probably sweeping up dust is your best bet. I feel like if you give Chi any task that requires mixing chemicals or using bleach or something like that, you're asking for trouble. Even if you give her explicit instruction, don't mix bleach and ammonia or whatever, I feel like there would be some incident where, she finds a bottle that contains ammonia but doesn't explicitly state it or something. And it's like, oh, I'll mix this, it'll be fine. And then, before you know it, the whole thing gets fumigated. Because, chlorine gas is bad for people, and you shouldn't mix those chemicals. But I feel like Chi would likely not suffer the ill effects of it immediately. I feel like it would probably be the salt water. She'd be more prone to corrosion rather than outright pain and death. Man, what a lovely thing to talk about in a nice, lighthearted cleaning episode, huh? Ooh. Wow, if that was like a second or third story, I mean, thank God it wasn't, but like, woo, buddy. I feel like he probably didn't have to sit on the railing to clean the windows like he was. Now, alternately, I feel like weeding might be a good job for Chi. You tell her what plants are bad and should be removed and which plants are good and should stay, and just like let her go wild, I feel like that's a fairly sort of autonomous task she could handle. Although at the same time, it is probably for the best that Hideki's kind of supervising her in all aspects. Washing windows and weeding and taking out the trash. Because, on the surface, she probably could handle any and all of these tasks. I guess when you get down to it, it's just nice to spend time with each other. Now that is kind of unfortunate that despite, working in the sun and all that, there's something nice about just having a glass of iced tea, but she obviously can't really partake in that. So, given that the title of this episode was Chi Helps, I get the feeling that this is really all we're gonna get, sort of various chores and things that Chi partakes in. I do find it interesting that Sumomo would, just sort of throw confetti to celebrate people cleaning things only to then sweep it up. You might as well have not bothered. What's the point of celebrating cleaning something if you're just gonna toss confetti everywhere? Now, it is also interesting that she was wearing a mask to keep all the dust out, because, normally if you're dusting, it's because you don't want to breathe in the dust, but does she have similar needs? Because, I know being a Persicom, she probably does have, an air intake to, regulate the temperature of her CPU and all that, but, is it a similar mechanism to breathing? Because I know, generally speaking, you don't want to have your computer be all dusty either. I guess it does kind of make sense. Or at least it's not so bizarre that anyone should really have a problem with it. I mean, for all we know, she was just sort of copying Hideki and doing what he's doing. Oh. Man, that's the big problem with Sumomo, isn't it? She gets underfoot all the time. I feel like if Hideki is being tasked with watching her, maybe you should sort of just keep her in a shirt pocket or something rather than letting her run wild. So once again, it seems like the landlord has come in clutch. It's oh, I've got all these old clothes. Would she like any? And, this is not the first time that the landlord has dropped by to help. It's not like it's any great big crisis for Chi at the moment, but, it is sort of serendipitous. Ooh. So Hideki's getting curious about all these doors in the building, and I guess I'm a little surprised that he's not supervising Chi. I feel like he shouldn't have to, but I don't know, it might do to provide a little bit of input here. Now, I guess the question is, what's the nature of these old clothes? Are they hand-me-downs, stuff that no longer fits the landlord, or... It's also interesting that she has a picture face down like that. I am generally of the opinion that, you don't do that unless the subject of the photo is recently deceased, or something to that effect. So perhaps these old clothes are being given away because they're no longer needed by their owner. Which, that's kind of bleak. It is nice to pass them along to someone who can use them, I suppose, but oh boy. So it looks like Hideki has found something alright. Like, judging by all the conduits and wires on the wall, that was like the electrical room. Although, based on what I've seen of electrical rooms, like, that place is a mess. Like, there's no reason a place like this would need to have such complicated networks of conduit and cabling. Ooh. So that's something. The landlord's saying, like, it's good that she has forgotten something. That's how he would have wanted it. It's rather ominous. Oh, Hideki, buddy. You're going around dusting things? Like, some of that stuff looks like Transformers. Like, if it's like a live Transformer, generally speaking, you probably shouldn't touch it. Oh. Oh, no. So if Sumomo's, like, hitting a live wire and tripping a breaker, like, first of all, she's probably fried. But, oh, man. Yeah, this place kind of seems like a death trap. I feel like if there are exposed live wires, you should probably, first of all, like, get out of Dodge. And, maybe bring it up to the landlord, like, hey, Sumomo got absolutely fried by some unsafe wiring here. I guess, that's the other thing, like, he was, in charge of watching Sumomo, and Sumomo is now, kaput. There's a saying I learned from one of my teachers, which is, if you let all the smoke out of the IC chips, they don't work anymore. And Hideki has proverbially let the smoke out of Sumomo. So, like, I feel like, man. Now, I do have to wonder, like, I feel like, shouldn't Sumomo have some sort of, like, an integral circuit breaker or something? Like, something to protect against surges? I guess thinking about it, most devices generally don't. I don't know. Like, I guess it would be nice, it would be wishful thinking, I suppose, but, yeah, I guess normally a lot of, like, surge protectors are sort of like auxiliary devices that you plug into things, or otherwise have to install. Yeah, this might be it for Sumomo. You might have to do some, like, extensive work to repair her. Yeah, come to think of it, that is a rather striking outfit for Chi to be wearing day to day, It makes me wonder who precisely owned this outfit prior to Chi, Ooh. Okay, so Chi's saying that it's her outfit. It's wrong to say she received it. That's very peculiar. Like, this seems to me that perhaps the landlord was Chi's previous owner. But, that doesn't really explain why Chi was just left in the garbage. And I guess compounding this is that the landlady does indeed seem to have some knowledge of Persicoms, where she's like, oh, I'll take a look at Sumomo and see what's going on, see if I can't fix her. Frankly, I don't see how she could fix, like, components damaged by a power surge, but, yeah. Something's going on here. Oh! Look at that! Sumomo does have a surge protector. Yeah, okay, so you just gotta reboot her. Easy peasy. Now, I guess the question is, oh, never mind. It's all moot now. I was going to say, how do you reboot Sumomo? You know, surely it wouldn't be a similar method as with Chi, right? You know, it's a good thing she seems to have suffered no ill effect from having been fried like that, because, you know, generally speaking, with my limited knowledge of computers, like, a lot of computer components run off of, like, 5 volts. Like, the voltage from the wall gets stepped down to 5 volts, and, like, that's how everything runs inside the computer. And, you know, if she fell on, like, an exposed cable, it could have been anything from, like, 120 to 480, depending. Because, you know, it looked like there were transformers in the room. You know, I don't think, like, the authors put this much attention into the electrical room and all the components there, but, like, you know, regardless of what she fell on, it probably wasn't good for her, you know? So yeah, once again, the landlord is displaying an incredible amount of knowledge. And she says she used to work with them, but like, what's the pipeline from working with Persicoms to being a landlord? Like, do you just get sick of working with them? Ooh, okay, so she inherited the property, and she's a widow. You know, it's interesting that she changed professions as a necessity. You know, rather than hire someone to take care of the property for her. You know, I do find it interesting that Hideki's like, don't you think you're wasting your talents? I mean, that could very well be true, but I don't know. Like, I guess it might also be that this work is more fulfilling for her. And I guess she's inviting them all over to dinner, which, you know, it would be rude to pass that up, but at the same time, like, there's something going on here, you know? Okay, so she's you know, apparently a good cook too. Which, you know, good on Hideki for scoring a nice meal. I mean, I don't want to say it was, like, rude to invite Chi along too if she can't partake in the food, but, like, man, is she really just gonna, like, sit there? Okay, so I'm just trying to get this all straight in my head. There's a whole bunch of unanswered questions here. You know, who owned the clothes first? Who's in that picture? The landlady's talking as though she knows Chi. Like, she's smiling a lot more these days. Like, I mean, that could, I guess, be a statement on, like, when you first got her, but I don't know, that seems to be a knowing statement. Like, you know, Chi didn't always used to be like this. Okay, and now she's saying more mysterious things about finding her, which, if I had to guess, indicates that little second personality within Chi, like that subroutine program or whatever you would call it. Yeah, okay, the landlord is involved in some way, and man, I hope it's a force for good. Not so sure now, considering Chi's once again reading that book. Ooh. Okay, so Hideki's creating a password for Sumomo, because I guess she's set to public mode? Ah, man, like, stupid password requirements. Ah, boy. Now, I feel like it probably is in Hideki's place to, instate a password on Sumomo, seeing as she doesn't belong to him. You know, for all we know, like, the fact that she doesn't have a password was done deliberately by Shinbo, you know? Ooh, okay, so the password is Chobits, he says, which I guess is acceptable. I was wondering if maybe this was going to set off Chi in some way, but maybe not. Well, that's something. You know, Sumomo's suggesting that you use, like, katakana, hiragana, numbers, and English letters for passwords. Because, like, over here, we use, like, numbers, letters, uppercase, lowercase, and special characters. I guess it's interesting that different countries would have different password protocols. Ooh. Alright, a little bit more intrigue. There's some shady people. Clearly, they don't seem to be good, upstanding people. Ooh, you know, maybe I wasn't too far off about Chi being some sort of, like, cyber weapon, and maybe they're interested. Or perhaps they might be her owners or something, or in some way affiliated with her owners. Who knows, maybe they're former co-workers of the landlord. Oh boy, okay, so there's like a secret trap door that is brightly lit. Like, man, surely there's nothing suspicious down here, right? Wow, I guess we know why there was such a sophisticated electrical room upstairs, huh? Wow. Okay, so the landlord knows a whole lot about stuff going on here. Like, she's involved in something. And, man, she's not just coming out and saying it, which kinda worries me a little bit. Man, I wonder how this room is accounted for on the floor plan. Alright, well that's it for this episode. If you've enjoyed it, then by all means, tune in for the next one. Merry Christmas, Space Cowboy.